Everybody, we are back. It is Saved on Last Favorite Podcast, Favorite channel, Favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course pandasubs.com. Discount code TDL for 25% off. All right. So today we're looking at some undrafted guys. We're going undrafted here. Kind of the two guys are getting buzz out of camp.
Yep.
So going with Joyner and Mello Dotson. So we're gonna be looking at these two guys, see if they have a chance to make this football team. And really, that's all we got today because nothing really else is happening. Nothing really going on with the Raiders. I mean, we're a dead season now, guys. It's dead season. We can't.
We got OTAs on Monday, I guess, when this comes out. When this comes out, right? OTAs will be on the going on. Can't talk right now, ongoing or whatnot. But
yeah,
other than that, nothing. Pretty quiet, pretty dead until training camp at least.
Yeah, I mean OTAs will be give us something to talk about a little bit, but it's not really too much going in there. Mini camp will give you a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and it's just basically probably just be the sports writers. In awe of a real quarterback. I think that's going to be the whole mini camp. It's like, wow, look at that. Yeah. What a throw. It's just like, they're just in awe of
finally
of a real NFL quarterback. So that's going to probably be most of mini camp. I can kind of see that already happening. You could already feel it when they're talking about the way the Raiders look. They're going to be like, oh my God, the hype of the offense is just going to be crazy. I think a little bit going into the year, especially if they have a good preseason. But yeah. All right. Joyner, Mello Dotson. Give us your thoughts on Joyner.
Yeah, so part of the reason kind of obviously to address the elephant in the room, like why he went undrafted, one of the things that I am concerned about him is his production was a lot better in 2023 than it was in 2024. So as a junior instead of a senior, he had pretty steep drop off. I think he went from 9 sacks to 3 this past season. And then on top of that too, his pressures went down. I think I got it up right here. Yeah. On PFF, he had 9 PFF sacks in 2023 and then 3 in this past season. And then on top of it too, his pressures went down by 15, 46 to 31. And he rushed the passer about 31 more times. So yeah, had a bit of a dip. And on top of that too, he wasn't a terrible tester at the combine, but he didn't test well. And he's got kind of some weird numbers. His 10-yard split got a 6.63 score on RAS, and his 20-yard split got a 7.83, but he ran a 4.6 flat, which got him a 9.62. So the opposite of what you'd hope for from a defensive lineman, where his get-off's not elite, but he for whatever reason he has a great flying 20. So he's got good long speed, which is I thought that was kind of funny when looking at him. And then on top of it too, vertical jump was only 30 inches, which is pretty bad. And then short shuttle was 4.68, which got him a 2.25. And I think that where that shows up too is he doesn't have great bend, which isn't ideal obviously for as a pass rusher, but to switch reverse course here, one thing I do think he does really well is he has a good pass rush plan where he's almost kind of a veteran pass rusher in that he ties his moves together. We'll see a few of these clips, he'll win with one move and then he'll start working that move and then have a counter underneath it to kind of keep offensive linemen guessing. So that's one of the things that I really like about him. And I think what he could really stand out, especially in the preseason, is he's got a good repertoire pass rush moves, especially against inexperienced tackles. I think he could really stand out and maybe have a chance at making the team in that regard. I don't think he's going to be a great run defender. He plays kind of high and doesn't have a great lower body strength, which again, you can kind of see it in his vertical jump. But what he does do is he's he's pretty nuanced with what he does as a pass rusher and has some nice tools in that regard. I thought he's a draftable player based on him being productive in the year before, and then again having some good pass rush skills. He's just not a high end athlete that I think was really the biggest primary reason why he ended up slipping through the cracks and not getting selected this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you're not a high level athlete with no production, you're probably not gonna get drafted. I mean, that's just kind of just how the rules of the game. I mean, if you're not gonna have production, you got to be Shamar Stewart, basically.
And a freak. You
got to be an athletic freak, right? And because just that thought process of, yeah, you're productive one year, then you're not the next. That could be a good knock on you too, especially when you don't have the athleticism to match it. So that makes sense. A little makes a little bit of sense there, but obviously he does have some kind of pass rush skills if he's able to get some sacks in college. So there's something there. But I mean, will it ever be like great in the NFL? I mean, that's gonna be.
Yeah, that's the question. But he does that. He does have 34-inch arms, which is pretty good length for what you'd expect. And I mean, good size too, 6'4", 262. So like, he checks a few boxes at least to give him some credit. But yeah, it's just like you said. And I think on top of it, like the sack numbers, like we can deal with, but the drop in pressures is almost more concerning because that means he's losing less often. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like if you're not getting the sack numbers, that could be a bunch of different factors. But if you're also not winning consistently, or you're not getting enough pressures, that usually means you're not winning enough.
Yeah. All right. So Mello Dotson, he was very productive. He had 5 interceptions. He has, I think his career, he has, look at right here, he has 12 in his career. So he's he has a lot of great ball skills. Definitely has a good ability of finding the football. I wish I got more of these interceptions, but in the games I watched, they just weren't in them. So I wish I would maybe did some more deep dive and got some clips of those interceptions. But I did get one from versus TCU. So he has ball skills, and he fits the press coverage of what they like to do. I mean, his arms aren't 32 inches, but they're 31 and a half. He is 6'1", he's 192, so he has the size that they like at corner, right? And I could see him being able to, in press coverage, use that length to win. It's just the athleticism. I mean, we talk about an athlete. I mean, that's what we're talking about here with these undrafted guys, because that's really what we're getting. Yeah. We're getting bad athletes that can play football. And you say and I say that as a bad athlete, but he's like a greater athlete than I'd ever be, right? I mean, but
right.
What I'm saying?
It's the scale. The standard is a little bit different than you and I.
You know what I mean? It's just perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he runs a 4.6. Okay, so he runs a 4.6.
So he's as fast as Joyner.
Yeah, he's as fast as Joyner, right? And he didn't do any agility testing, and his vertical leap was 34 inches for a corner that's below 50% 50 percentile. Yeah. So yeah, he's just not a great athlete, and it shows up on film. I mean, does he have great ball skills? Yes, right. Does he play the ball well? Does he? Do I believe like if he can get his hands on you, that he could probably control you and do on press coverage? Yes, but like it's kind of like Eric Stokes a little bit, where it's like off coverage is not the same thing, just because the athleticism, he just doesn't have that like athleticism that you need for corner or the long speed either. So that's kind of a little bit of the issue with Dotson, and I mean that's the reason why he went undrafted. And I just want to say I'm mad at Caddy's cut-ups, because I watched the TCU game. I watched the whole game, and they kept pointing towards Kobe Bryant. And I was cutting up clips like, man, how did this guy get drafted? And then I realized the second game I watched, like, oh, that's not him. That makes sense. Yeah. I was like, I think I even posted some clips. It was Kobe Bryant. Like I was all excited and shit. Like I'm mad about that. Nobody called me out.
Kobe Bryant also went undrafted, didn't he?
Which was it's just crazy, but
yeah. Well, it was the same thing. It was like not great testing. And,
yeah.
Ended up slipping through the cracks. But,
yeah. But
it is funny to me too. Like if you look at like their draft class, I think the RAS guy Kent Lee posted it. Like the Raiders had like most of their draft picks except for Charles Grant were like usually like good RAS guys, and like we said with Grant, like Grant's testing didn't make any sense from what he showed on film. Whereas I think these two guys, from the sounds of it, like they didn't test well and it showed up on tape. But the point where I'm going here is like they drafted with like very clear RAS in mind and like looking for athletes, and then the undrafted guys, they were like we're willing to look the other way. So it just kind of lets you know where the priority is for this regime, which is honestly how a lot of organizations run and kind of how it should be, especially if you can get these guys that slide through and other teams don't want them either.
Yeah, that should be the point. I mean, like why take a guy who's not athletic in the draft? You know what I mean?
So, yeah.
All right. Let's do some Joyner first. Let's look at it.
All right. So this first clip is going to be the one that's kind of like the most like one-off as far as his pass rush clips. Really just kind of good use of hands here to beat this tackle, which kind of gets a little over aggressive on the pass set here. But like you'll see like nice little hand swipe, like where he just times up his move well. You'll see like you watch this. I'll back this up a little bit. watch this outside hand here. Like he does a great job of clearing it, like right about here to win around the edge. And like you can kind of see on this one, like what I'm talking about with the lack of bend. Like if you watch, he kind of has to banana to get to around the corner versus like taking like the hard angle. And I think that's part of the reason why he doesn't get the sack here, because like he gets close, but the ball's out by the time he can get there, and that's just not as quite as efficient of a path as if he were like if he were right here, he could turn the corner and like just rip underneath the tackle to go get the sack. So a little bit of the good and the bad on that one. Mm-hmm. This is where we'll start to see like his moves start to work together. Like you'll see on this one, he actually does kind of go for the hand swipe here first, like that we just showed, and it just doesn't work. Then tries the whip around. He doesn't quite get it around on the edge, but he wins enough that he can spin back inside. Again, ball's out a little bit ball's out a little bit too quickly for him to get there. But like you see, this is a nice spin move I was talking about before with this the ice pick. Watch that outside or that inside elbow, clear the offensive tackle, and then go get a quarterback hit. I think this one's gonna be another spin move here. Yeah, this one just kind of happened a little bit later, but like same kind of thing. Like he tries to work up the field and win around the edge, doesn't quite get there. And then I'd like on the top of it too, like he recognizes when he's hit the point of no return. And this is even a better example of watch this outside elbow, that ice pick.
Boom. Some aggressiveness right there.
Yeah, just got to happen a little bit sooner. I think probably part of it's his angles too, the quarterback. Let's see which one we got here. This one going to turn some speed to power. I think this is probably one of his more underrated abilities as a pass rusher. Like you'll see him like kind of do a good job of putting his outside foot in the ground. Again, collapse in the pocket. Unfortunately, not great camera work, but you can see enough of what you need where he gets his hands up, ends up getting a better pass. Sorry, you say something?
No, I'm laughing at the camera guy. He see that pass was good enough.
No, not quite. Josh said no. And Dikembe Mutombo, the camera guy too. No.
Yeah. What if like the coach told me you're late on the film? He's like trying to
trying to get the receivers in there. And then this is kind of where you'll see him start to string things together. So we saw him. Granted, it was on the other side against the other tackle here. We just saw him when turning speed to power, and this time he's going to bull rush, but then kind of work to get on the edge with a nice little rip move. Yeah. So like he kind of sells the winning with power, and then just counters by winning around the edge. And this time he actually does a little bit better job of turning the corner. And it's partially because of that rip move where he uses the offensive lineman to like lean back into him here. See how he's kind of like that wasn't good. See how he's kind of at like almost like a 45-degree angle here. And that helps him get closer and then get onto the quarterback, and looks like affect that throw and prevent it from even reaching the target. Let's see. Same kind of thing here. Like we'll see him win with like a little one-arm stab and then just use a rip move off of it. Same kind of type of move. Sell winning with speed to power. And then just win around the edge. Catch the guy leaning. This next one, I think you'll get a real good example of it against Penn State here.
Yeah.
Like you can see this one. So it's kind of subtle. Like I'm going to try and slow this down. But like he's going to go to throw the stab right here. Mm-hmm. Like, right, we got the hand right there that he's going to try to put on the offensive tackle's chest there. Yeah. Like watch what the tackle does. Like he starts to lean to try and like fight fire with fire and be aggressive, but he takes it away and ends up winning with the rip move, and that's going to help him turn the corner. Like compare this rep to the last one the other one that we're looking at. Like that's perfect. Be able to get some pressure.
Yeah, I mean,
check now, but
he does have a good pass rush plan. You could tell that. I mean, he knows how to rush the passer for sure.
For sure. But yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Like where he can just string things together. Like I'm sure this tackle probably saw this on tape too, and he's trying to get aggressive, and then boom, just take it away.
This place why Drew Aller is going to go number one because a nice little check down there.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And with one rep against the run, just to show he can do it a little bit, but see him here playing on the 4 technique and this little 5-man front from Minnesota. Again, so take on a little combo block here too with the tight end. Not a bad one. So maybe not. Maybe he can become a full-time player, but I will say those reps were few and far between. I just wanted to show it to see.
You're being nice, Matt. You're being nice.
To highlight it, yeah. Most of them, I will say, he got washed inside. But hey, I'll give him a little credit when he deserves it. But yeah, definitely more of a pass rusher, like you said, but can string things along and does a lot of has a lot of veteran tricks already. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in the preseason. I think he's one of those guys that could really stand out in August. Just, again, going against a lot of young tackles too.
Yeah, and I don't know if you already said this, but what do you feel like is the reason why he's not very good against the run? What you would say?
I think part of it is part of it's his pad level, like especially like you might have even seen on some of those clips, like some of those guys that are more pass rush specialists, they're more focused on like their get off. So with that, sometimes we're like can come with the detriment of it's like your pad level because you're just trying to get off the ball versus like staying measured and staying low. And on top of it too, I think it's his lower body strength. Like I said, the vertical jump, like that's a decent test, like to see how explosive, right? Because that's just your pure legs, like driving force from the ground and picking you up and bringing you up. It's not a great indication. Obviously, I haven't seen him in the squat rack or anything like that. And what he can do, but usually, if you have stronger legs, you can jump higher because you can generate more force. So I think it's that. I think it's a combination of his pad level. Probably a little bit of lack of lower body strength, which can be fixed. And then on top of it too, he gets wide hands against the run. So he lets guys into his chest. So that's kind of just like those are three really ugly flaws to have against the run, to expose your chest, be high, and not have a great anchor. That's going to be a bit of an issue. But
yeah 30H vertical leap is definitely not what you like to see. That's like, I mean, it's basically like Charles Grant. It's like Charles Grant jumped higher than him, I think. Did he?
Might have, yeah. With like 40 to 50 pounds on him. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. See, you don't get drafted when that happens. You don't get drafted. That makes sense. All right. Let's get into some. All right. So we get into some Mello Dotson here. So, I talked a little bit about with him with off coverage, but still has some good off coverage reps here. He definitely has a good, usually don't see a lot of backpedaling in college football, but he is able to backpedal, right, and still be in coverage here. So I think this is, I don't know if that's Jordan Tyson there. Actually, I think it is. All right. So this is him against Tyson here, who's probably going to be a first round receiver. He's not going to be a second round receiver. Jaden Higgins going second round. Tyson's going second round. That's all I'm saying. But you see here, he's able to kind of stick with him. You got to see the lack of athleticism a little bit just because the hips, the how he can flip his hips. But he's still able to stick with him and kind of, force a tight throw, right? I mean, so you can see, Jordan tries to give him a little bit of a rocker step here to kind of get back inside. He does a good job because you see right here, he's able to get square right here. And that allows him to kind of be able to cover both ways. He does a good job of sticking with him. It kind of forces a tight throw. So, I mean, I really like that rep by him. You can watch it one more time. Right there. It's a good rep. All right. Here we go. Here's another one. Now this one, I just like to kind of how he played this drag. I know, like, you could say if maybe Shedeur Sanders is looking right at the drag right now, but, we know how he drops in college football, so he wasn't looking at it. So maybe you say, like, okay, maybe he could throw it right there. But by the time he got to the back of his drop, I mean, Dotson's right there on that ball. So, I mean, that is so, he definitely did a good job of seeing what this route was going to be, right? Because you see they're in a stack. He makes a signal there. See the signal right there?
Yeah.
All right. So kind of, lets everybody know what they're doing. Then the blitzing does a good job of just sticking with that guy right there. Like I said, you would hope even if they get this pass off, that he's able to make that tackle, maybe save a first down. But, Sanders, definitely was just trying to force this Travis Hunter. So, but I still like this rep, though.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one against Shepard from Colorado. So I mean, this is a little bit easier for him because Shepard's not showing a lot of explosiveness on this route, and he kind of gets rerouted a little bit with the linebacker. But he just does a good job of like pacing himself, not if it ends up being a corner route or something like that, he's still square enough where he can still flip his hips and cover the corner route here. So it's a good job of being able to, like I said, getting square and being able to cover both directions here. So, you line up, shove it right there. You get square, understanding. I mean, it's college football rules. Of course, you can't do that in NFL touchdown this late, but he's able to get his hands on and kind of stick with them right there.
Yeah.
And leave Sanders just kind of with nobody open here. So some good coverage right there. Yeah, he had a pretty good game against Colorado.
Nice. You have many reps against Hunter?
Not really. Not enough that I could really show on film.
Gotcha.
So this ends up being a catch, but this is actually just a better throw from Sanders, in my opinion. So here you can kind of see a little bit of the lack of athleticism here too, kind of with the transition, but I still thought he played this route pretty well because, I mean, he's in off coverage here, right? I mean, this is a comeback versus off coverage. It's not the easiest route to cover. You're playing off coverage here, and I thought he did a good job. He didn't get into bail very quick here, kind of understanding that Shepard's not that fast. So he's able to keep Shepard in front of him, right? And you kind of can see that, maybe if he had better athleticism, he could break on this football a whole lot earlier, right? And come back to the football. So it's a little bit of a transition here, but it's also, let's just say Sanders missed his throw. He still is going to get a pick here, right?
Yeah.
But this ends up just being a great throw. I mean, that's great placement by Sanders. It's a great throw.
That's a nice ball. He sat on that pretty well too. Like he hit it, like he read it all the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can tell he's a smart player too, right?
Yeah,
and that's probably a good reason why Pete Carroll liked him. Also, he has this play where he's on this side of the field, and he runs all the way to the other side. That's definitely
plays, man.
That's definitely something I'm taking into account next year. Like, I see a guy run across the field with some hustle. I'm like, okay, maybe he's probably on the draft board.
Yeah, bump him up around.
Yeah, but I kind of show the placement here on this one. I mean, because he's right there, man. I mean, you can tell that. So it's good coverage. It's a great throw. Kind of showing off Sanders' accuracy here. So here's up at the top on this one. This one he ends up getting an interception. It ends up being like an inverted cover 2 here, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, it's still cover 3.
Still 3 high. Yeah. Maybe like a. Okay. Yeah. They're just changing the way to get to it.
Yeah, it's just the way
protecting the seams. It looks like it.
Yeah, basically, right? So it basically turns to a safety here. And what I like is that he reads this route. Like, if this quarterback tries to anticipate the post, because I mean, if you look at it right here, I mean, the post, I mean, he's still gonna get this dude killed, I think. But the post, maybe if he's not throwing it too early, that maybe he can get this ball here. And that's probably what he's thinking. If I throw it, if I anticipate it, and of course the guy runs a bad route here. I mean, if he's kind of rounding it and he's not even looking for the football yet. But what I like from Dotson, though, is how he's able to read this quickly and kind of get to this football. All right. And like I said, it's not the cleanest footwork here. You got to see, you got to circles around, but still the read of it and the way he read it. And, this his intelligence is right there. And that's how you get those interceptions like that. So,
and building off what you're saying, to me, it tells me he has good zone eyes, because like we're saying, it's a little bit different coverage than just standard cover 3 where they're protecting the inside. And he makes the adjustment to like fulfill the assignment and on top of it capitalize.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here is an off coverage again. And I like this one because I said that's a good receiver there. And Jordan Tyson, I believe that's Tyson again. I see this one a little bit trusting his speed as well. Kind of getting, he's kind of, stops and wants to sit on this route, but it's a good job of, once Tyson tries to get past him right there, of keeping him in front of him and forcing that throw, a perfect throw. Like maybe if this is like a dime, like the dime of dimes, and he just places it right here perfectly, you could say, okay, like he needs to be closer to him, and he just definitely needs to squeeze this area right here and kind of, just squeeze this gap so he doesn't have that much room to catch football. But I think it's still good coverage there. I mean, that's like a coaching point, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Use the sideline as your friend, get close to him.
Yeah.
Keep trying to widen him.
So if it was like a more perfect throw, then you could say, that right there. So here it gets Raider on Raider here. Mello Dotson versus Jack Batch. So And this one kind of shows him a little bit in press coverage here. So like I said, it's still square, right? I mean, because he has good technique in my opinion. So he does a good job staying square there, and he's right with Besh on this one right here. So
That's
easy, right?
Nice job. I like that technique too.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the type of guy who runs a 4.6. I mean, he could if he has the technique. I mean, there's gonna be some guys who just are going to work him just because they're too athletic. But
yeah,
you just got to make sure you put him in the right position where he's able to not get exposed that way, right?
Yeah.
But there are some good elements there. All right, so this one kind of talks about, we talked about the zone eyes here. What I really liked about this one, I mean, you're kind of getting basically switch verticals here, and he does a good job of not, Travis Hunter commands a lot of attention, right? He doesn't freak out here and just roll with Travis Hunter. And you like Marcus, okay, he understands his assignment. That's easy, right? But you see that all the time, right? I mean, because Hunter is open. But let's just say if he goes with Hunter, like who would you rather catch the football, right?
Yeah, pick your poison, yeah.
Right? And then Sanders isn't even looking that way, and then like, and for good reason. But this play kind of just shows Sanders' arm strength a little bit here. But I really like this rep here. That's a great play by Kobe Bryant too. Because I mean, Travis Hunter got his hand up, but Travis Hunter already got a pick here if he got his, because that's what I say. Wide receivers, get your hand down, man. Get your hand down. All right. So here's another rep here against Shepard here. Like I said, it's easy because when he's not worried about the speed of the wide receiver. I mean, it's real easy for him because, like I said, he has good technique. There's a little shuffle there, understanding where this route is going to go, right? Able to get in front of him, and then understand that I have the post safety on top, and I can kind of get underneath them.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's a good route. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. And like I said, he's a great fit for what they like to do on defense. Now this play, he's going to end up getting a pass defense on this one, but it's kind of going to show his athleticism a little bit. So we getting an out and up here, right? And you kind of can see what he does really well, right? Which kind of stay square, understand what the route is going to be. But at this point, right, it ends up being an out. Okay, so I'm going to drive on that. And then ends up being out and up, right? And you kind of see him just kind of stumble to kind of flip his hips a little bit there. But what I like about this rep, right, he's burned. It ends up being a good, bad throw. And he ends up playing through the hands here.
Yeah, doesn't quit.
Yeah, doesn't quit. Tell you, man, he's a hustle guy, man. Pete Carroll saw this rep, was like, this is the type of player I like to give up.
Yeah.
Found the football, broke it up. Didn't get a pass interference either, which what I really like about that rep is that he didn't get a pass interference. He could have panicked here, right? I mean, this is panic area, which you see a lot of NFL corners do, right? He didn't panic. And what I like right here, is that he was able to pace himself. You kind of see him peek at the football first a little bit. It's real quick.
Yeah. Like he recognized the overthrow and kind of like pulls his hips up too. Like you can see it. Yeah. Stay under control. Benefit of being slower is that you can stay under control a little easier.
Benefits to a 4.6 right there, man.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. And then this is kind of just another rep. I mean, this is, if you've seen our Jack Besh breakdown, I mean, Jack Besh is about to work him right here. And like I said, I mean, this is just more of the rocker step. And when he gets to the point where he does start committing, right, and starts to open the gate a little bit, yeah, he doesn't have that athleticism kind of to hang out with this. I mean, even the spin here, I mean, the spin didn't help him. I mean, it actually made it worse because he ended up being even farther away from Besh there. So, like I said, the initial rep, right? I mean, if Besh is running downfield, I mean, he does a good job. He's about to get his hands on him, but that's not how it works. It's just a great route from Jack Besh. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, some great route runners are going to be able to work him a little bit. And then, a little bit of just the long speed, which I still think is a bad rep, but it's kind of more about, on the previous play, you talk about if he doesn't squeeze it, right? He's in position. He just doesn't win the hand fight here at the end of this rep. This is a Jordan Tyson. That's why I said if Jordan Higgins goes first round. My boy Tyson better go. Second round, my boy Tyson better go. Look at that. Look at Tyson just with the arm and then laid hands.
That was a nice route.
And Texas, you were lucky. That's what I'm saying. You're lucky, Texas. All right, but yeah, that's Mello Dotson. And like I said, I mean, the film is pretty good, man. It's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
He's just not athletic.
Yeah. And like that's the thing, like I know you kind of like jokingly said it, but like, oh, he's just executing an assignment. It's like, well, there's something to be said about guys that can do that. And it's like, especially when you get to those guys at the end of the roster where they're playing in the pinch, it's like, all right, I'm not expecting you to go out there and cover Tyreek Hill, right? Like I'm not expecting that. But if I can trust that you're at least in the right position to give us a chance, that's all we're going to be asking for you if you're coming off the bench again with some of these undrafted free agent guys. So
yeah,
I mean, if you can at least do that, like there is something to be said about that, about being trustworthy and being at least in the right spot. You know, we'll live with it if you just get beat athletically, but if we can at least get you in the right spot and have a chance at breaking up the play or whatever, then we can work with that, especially with these guys that are competing for roster spots, competing to be backups, at the end of the day.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Or, be starters in the future, maybe. I mean, of course, special teams can be their way they get things done. But I do think there's a way for Dotson to get on the football field, especially with competition and how this team is working and, the competition aspect. Like, if he plays better than Sam Webb, like Sam Webb's getting cut. You know what I mean? Like let's keep it real, right? And that's what should motivate Dotson, because he does have the intelligence and he does have the technique to get things done in the NFL. It's just, if he goes up against, a dude that can route him up. I mean, if he goes against Jamar Chase is probably going to work him. I mean, that's just, you know what I mean? Like it's not, I don't know if he could ever be to that guy to be elite unless, he sticks in the zone system. I mean, maybe you could, kind of like how Richard Sherman, because Keenan Allen used to kill Richard Sherman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those type of guys that can run routes like that, Sherman didn't have a good time covering those guys either. And that kind of goes with Mello Dotson. And of course, I'm not comparing Mello Dotson to Sherman, because Sherman was faster and more athletic, and that's why he went in the 5th round as a kind of conversion type of player. But it's just that aspect of if he could play zone and do what Carroll wants you to do or Patrick Graham wants you to do, he could find a way to get on the field, and you can see that he has intelligence to do it.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think he could maybe play nickel at all? Or is that you think is not good enough of the change of direction?
He can't tackle very well. Yeah, that's why I didn't tackle. Gotcha, I didn't even want to get to that.
Gotcha.
There's just no point. I was just throwing bad reels of him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just thinking, just like again off the top of my head, like that's the way. Like if you're one of these guys, that's the way you get on the field, right? That's a wide open spot with the Raiders have going into the season. And if you don't have long speed, normally you can get away with it in the slot, right? Because you have more safety help. But if you can't tackle, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he had 29 career snaps in the slot in college football, so that tells you a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Bit of a stretch.
Yeah. All right, guys. Quick episode. It's basically all film, but hey. I mean, that's what this is. This is the film reviews here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be on the lookout for gonna have a new members video, like every Jack Best target for versus SMU, I believe. Like what I cut up yesterday. So check those out. We'll be back doing some more breakdowns of some of these rookies, more of a deep dive. We could do Darren Porter, looking at Ashton Genty's receptions, and of course like Friday Night Live and all that stuff. We'll be back next week, so be on the lookout for all the stuff we got going here, and check out the other rookie breakdowns. Like I said, they're going to be exciting until August, and then everything will change. So there are things for you to watch until August, man. If you're like, hey, well, what is Charlie Grant like, you can go, you can come watch the show. And Caleb Rogers, we did all of them. So check those out. And and any last words, Matt, before we get out of here?
Not much. I mean, only other thing on this topic is let us know what undrafted guys you guys want to see it talk. Do. Let us know, because I mean, there's 15 of them. Let's be honest, we're not going to waste our time and waste your guys' time and go through all 15. But if there's a couple guys that that a lot of people want to know about and want to see more of, drop us our way, and we'll do a little breakdown on them, because we got plenty of time between now and September. So
yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're out of here. Peace.